The massive black ships appeared in Earth's sky like dark clouds bringing death. Commander Thylex stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet grow larger through the viewing screen. His gray skin rippled with satisfaction. Another world would fall to the mighty Vorthak Empire. Status report, Thylex commanded, his voice a low growl that echoed through the ship's metal corridors. Sub-Commander Vextok checked his readings. All fleet vessels in position, Commander. 300 warships ready for planetary assault. The primitive world shows no signs of advanced defense systems. Thylex nodded. This would be easy, just like the other 17 worlds they had conquered. The humans used crude chemical rockets and metal projectiles. Their most advanced ships could barely reach their own moon. The Vorthak had energy weapons that could melt mountains and shields that could stop any attack. Begin the invasion, Thylex ordered. On Earth, Dr. Jinwoo was working late in his laboratory at the Seoul Defense Institute when alarms began screaming throughout the building. He dropped his coffee mug and ran to his computer terminal. The screen showed hundreds of unknown objects entering Earth's atmosphere. This is not possible, Jinwoo whispered, staring at the readings. The objects were huge, each one the size of a city block. They moved in perfect formation, clearly under intelligent control. His phone rang. Dr. Jinwoo, this is General Hyemin from Central Command. We need you at the emergency meeting right now. Within an hour, the world's greatest minds gathered in the underground bunker beneath Seoul. Dr. Minho, the famous physicist, studied the alien ship readings. Their technology is far beyond ours, he said quietly. These ships use energy sources we cannot understand. General Hyemin looked grim. How long do we have? Their ships are landing in major cities worldwide, reported Colonel Sangwoo. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. They seem to be targeting population centers. Dr. Yunji, a biologist who studied extreme environments, raised her hand. General, I have been analyzing the aliens' ship designs. Something is strange. Their hulls are very thick, much thicker than needed for space travel. And look at these heat readings. She pointed to her computer screen. Their ships are generating enormous amounts of heat just sitting in our atmosphere. That makes no sense for advanced technology. Jinwoo leaned forward. What kind of world do you think they come from? Based on their ship construction, Yunji replied, I would guess a world with very low gravity, thin atmosphere, and weak sunlight. Their technology seems designed for easy conditions. Meanwhile, the first Vorthak troops were stepping onto Earth's surface in Central Park, New York. Squad leader Graxon felt the crushing weight hit him immediately. His legs buckled under the intense gravity. Each step felt like walking through thick mud while carrying heavy stones. Squad report. Graxon wheezed into his communication device. The air felt thick and poisonous even through his breathing mask. Sir, gasped Trooper Vexil, the gravity here is killing us. It feels like we weigh 3 times normal. Graxon struggled to stay upright. On their homeworld of Vorth, the gravity was gentle, the air was thin, and their red sun gave weak light. Here on this blue world, everything was wrong. The yellow sun burned through their protective clothing. The thick atmosphere made every breath a struggle, and the gravity crushed down on them like an invisible weight. Form defensive positions, Graxon ordered, though his troops moved like old beings instead of trained soldiers. In Seoul, Captain Jiho of the Korean Marines was preparing his unit for contact with the aliens. Listen carefully, he told his men. We do not know what these creatures can do, but we know our city and we know how to fight. Sergeant Minsu checked his rifle. Sir, our weapons are primitive compared to theirs. How can we fight energy beams with bullets? Sometimes, Jiho replied, the simple way is the best way. The first battle happened in Busan, where young engineer Sujin was working late in her laboratory. She heard strange sounds outside and looked through her window. Tall gray creatures in bulky suits were moving down the street, but they moved so slowly that she could easily outrun them. One of the aliens pointed a glowing weapon at a car and fired. The energy beam melted the metal instantly, but then something strange happened. The alien stumbled and fell to his knees, gasping for air. His weapon stopped glowing and began smoking. Sujin grabbed her emergency radio. "This is Engineer Sujin in Busan. I am watching the aliens right now. They are having problems. Their weapons are overheating and they can barely walk." Back on the Vorthak flagship, Commander Thylex was receiving disturbing reports from all landing sites. "What do you mean our weapons are failing?" he demanded. "Sir," reported Communications Officer Zeltok, "the troops on the surface report that their energy weapons overheat after only a few shots. The cooling systems cannot handle the thick atmosphere and intense heat from the planet's star." Thylex felt a cold fear in his chest. "What about our shields?" "The personal shields are draining, power at impossible rates. The dense atmosphere and high gravity are making them work much harder than designed. Most troops report shield failure within 1 Earth hour." On Earth's surface, the situation was getting worse for the Vorthak forces. In London, squad leader Thaxon watched 3 of his soldiers collapse from exhaustion after walking only 2 city blocks. Their breathing masks were failing in the oxygen-rich atmosphere. "Command," Thaxon radioed desperately. "We need immediate medical support. The troops are falling sick. Their bones are breaking under the gravity, their organs are failing." Dr. Youngji, an atmospheric scientist in Seoul, was studying recordings of the alien soldiers. "Look at this," she told her team. "They move like they are underwater. Their bodies are not built for our gravity." "What does that mean?" asked her assistant Wu Jin. "It means," Youngji said slowly, "that we have been thinking about this wrong. We thought they were advanced, and we were primitive. But maybe our world is harder to live on than theirs." In New York, the situation became desperate for squad leader Graxon. A simple thunderstorm had moved in, and the lightning was destroying their electronic equipment. The rain was getting through their suits and burning their skin like acid. "This is impossible," Graxon moaned. "How do the humans live in this death world?" Unknown to him, 12-year-old Taehyun was watching from a nearby building. The boy had grown up in New York playing in all kinds of weather. He could run for hours without getting tired. To him, the storm was just another rainy day. But the aliens were suffering like they were dying. Taehyun called his older sister Minji on his phone. "The aliens are in trouble. The rain is hurting them and they can barely move." Minji, who worked for the city emergency services, quickly called her supervisor. "Sir, I think we have been looking at this invasion all wrong." Back in Seoul, General Hyaman was receiving reports from around the world. "The aliens are retreating to their ships in most cities," reported Colonel Sang-woo. "Their ground forces cannot operate in our environment." Dr. Minho was studying energy readings from the alien ships. "General, their ships are using enormous amounts of power just to stay in our atmosphere. Their technology is not designed for a world like ours." "What kind of world are they from?" asked General Hyaman. Dr. Yoonji had been studying captured alien equipment. "Based on what I see, they come from a world with about half our gravity, very thin atmosphere, and much less radiation from their star. Their bodies and technology are designed for easy conditions." "So our normal world is like a death trap to them?" asked Jinwoo. "Exactly," replied Yoonji. "They thought they were invading a primitive world. Instead, they landed on a planet that is slowly killing them just by existing." On the Vorthak flagship, Commander Thylex was reading medical reports with growing horror. "Gravitational syndrome?" he asked the ship's doctor. "Yes, Commander," replied Dr. Vexthar. "The troops on the surface are suffering bone fractures, organ failure, and cellular breakdown. The high gravity and radiation are destroying their bodies. If they stay on the surface, they will die within months." "What about the humans?" Thylex demanded. "How do they survive in such conditions?" "Sir," the doctor replied quietly, "I believe the humans evolved in these extreme conditions. To them, this is normal. To us, it is a death sentence." Thylex stared at the blue planet below. For the first time in his military career, he felt true fear. They had not invaded a primitive world. They had attacked the homeworld of creatures, who lived easily in conditions that would kill any civilized being. On Earth, the truth was becoming clear to the human defenders. In Tokyo, environmental engineer Kyung-hee was explaining to her team, "The aliens' technology is very advanced, but it is built for their easy world. Here on Earth, our thick atmosphere overheats their weapons. Our strong gravity crushes their vehicles. Our intense sunlight overwhelms their power systems. So our primitive technology works better here?" asked her assistant. "Our technology is not primitive," Kyung-hee replied. "It is built tough because it has to work in Earth's harsh conditions. Their advanced technology is delicate because they never needed it to be strong." In Busan, Sujin was examining a broken alien weapon that had been left behind. "Look at this construction," she told Captain Jiho. "It is made from materials that are very light and efficient, perfect for a world with low gravity and thin air. But here on Earth." 3 days after the failed invasion, Commander Thylex made a decision that went against every military principle he had ever learned. He ordered his forces to try again, but this time with heavy environmental suits and mobile life support systems. "We cannot let one planet defeat the entire Vorthak Empire," he told his officers. "We will adapt to their deathworld conditions." But adaptation was proving impossible. On Earth's surface, the second wave of Vorthak troops was faring even worse than the first. The heavy environmental suits that were supposed to protect them instead made them slower and clumsier. In Mumbai, squad leader Vexthar watched helplessly as his soldiers struggled to move through the crowded streets. "Command!" he radioed desperately. "The humans are running circles around us, literally." It was true. Local shopkeeper Dong Yun, who had been a track athlete in college, was leading a group of civilians in hit-and-run attacks against the alien patrol. The humans would dart out of alleys, throw rocks and bottles at the aliens, then disappear before the slow-moving troops could respond. "How are they so fast?" gasped Trooper Zeltok, collapsing against a wall after chasing the humans for only 50 meters. What the aliens did not understand was that Dongyun was not even trying hard. To him, running through the city streets was as natural as breathing. He had grown up playing soccer in the hot sun, running for hours without stopping. The thick atmosphere that was killing the aliens was just normal air to him. In Seoul, engineer Sujin was working with a team of scientists to study the alien equipment that had been left behind. What they found was disturbing. "Look at these power readings," she told Dr. Jinwoo. "Their personal shields are designed to use very little energy, but in our atmosphere they drain power so fast that the portable generators cannot keep up." "Why?" asked Dr. Minho. "Because," explained Sujin, "their shields are designed for a world with almost no atmosphere. Here on Earth, the thick air creates constant pressure against the shield. It is like trying to hold back the ocean with a screen door." Dr. Yunji was examining alien body armor that had been damaged in the retreat. "This material is incredible," she said. "It is lighter than aluminum but stronger than steel. Perfect protection against energy weapons." "So what is the problem?" asked Jinwoo. "The problem," Yunji replied, "is that it was not designed for kinetic impacts. A simple rock thrown hard enough will crack it. And in Earth's strong gravity, even a small rock hits like a hammer. This discovery was already being proven in combat zones around the world. In Cairo, construction worker Hyemen was leading a resistance group armed with nothing but slingshots and steel balls. The aliens' advanced armor stopped energy beams perfectly, but the steel balls, accelerated by Earth's gravity and the humans' strong arms, were cracking their protective suits. "Impossible," whispered Vorthak Trooper Graxon as he watched his squad's armor fail against primitive projectiles. "How can such crude weapons defeat our technology?" The answer was simple physics, but the aliens did not understand Earth physics. On their low-gravity homeworld, a thrown rock was barely dangerous. On Earth, the same rock carried 3 times the impact force, and humans had evolved the muscle strength to throw much harder than any Vorthak could. Back on the flagship, Commander Thylex was receiving medical reports that made his situation clear. Ship's Dr. Vexthar delivered the news with grim efficiency. "Commander, we have lost 40% of our second wave to medical casualties. Bone fractures, organ failure, respiratory collapse, and something our medics are calling pressure syndrome. Explain pressure syndrome, Thylex ordered. Sir, the human's atmosphere is so dense and oxygen-rich that it is poisoning our troops. Their bodies cannot process the intense chemical environment. It is like trying to breathe liquid fire. What about the humans? Thylex asked. How do they survive in such conditions? Dr. Vexthar looked uncomfortable. Sir, I believe the humans are not just adapted to their death world. I think they require it to live. Their bodies are designed to process the intense atmosphere. Their bones are built to handle the crushing gravity. Their organs are redundant systems designed for extreme stress. You are saying they are living weapons? Sir, the doctor replied quietly. I am saying they are the ultimate expression of evolution under impossible conditions. Every human is what we would call a super being. This was being proven on Earth's battlefields every day. In London, former Olympic gymnast Minji was leading urban warfare training for civilian volunteers. What amazed the military observers was how easily the civilians adapted to combat conditions. Watch this, Minji told Colonel Sangwoo, as she demonstrated how to move through rubble. She leaped from building to building, climbed vertical walls, and moved with speed and grace that would be impossible for any Vorthak. How strong are normal humans? Asked the colonel. Strong enough, replied Minji. We grew up in this gravity. We trained our muscles against this air resistance. To us, this is normal. To them, we must seem like giants. She was right. In Paris, Vorthak intelligence officer Thexol was filing a report that would change his empire's understanding of warfare forever. The humans demonstrate physical capabilities that should be impossible for any known species, he wrote. Individual humans can carry weights equal to their own body mass. They can run for hours without stopping. They can survive injuries that would kill any civilized being. Most disturbing, they seem to enjoy physical stress that would be torture to us. The last point was proven when human athlete Taehyun was captured during a raid in Tokyo. The Vorthak interrogators were horrified to discover that he viewed their torture world as his home. When they showed him images of their peaceful, low-gravity homeworld, he looked confused. That looks boring, Taehyun said. How do you build strong bodies without heavy gravity? How do you test your limits without extreme weather? How do you grow as a person without challenges? The interrogation team reported that the humans seemed genuinely sorry for them, as if they were the ones suffering. On Earth, the human defenders were beginning to understand their true advantages. Dr. Youngji had been analyzing atmospheric data from around the invasion sites. The aliens' technology is failing not because it is badly made, she explained to the Seoul defense team, but because it is made too well for easy conditions. Their metals become brittle in our temperature changes. Their electronics short out in our humidity. Their power systems overload in our electromagnetic environment. So our harsh environment is a weapon? Asked General Hammond. More than that, replied Dr. Youngji. Our environment is the reason we are strong. Every human alive is a product of evolutionary training that would kill these aliens. Environmental engineer Kyung-hee was studying the aliens' failed equipment when she made a startling discovery. Look at this vehicle design, she told her team. It is perfect for operation in vacuum or thin atmosphere. But here on Earth, the dense air creates so much drag that it can barely move. What about our vehicles? Asked her assistant Woo Jin. Our vehicles are over-engineered for Earth conditions, Kyung-hee replied. We build everything tough because our world demands it. A human truck designed for Earth roads could probably drive on any planet in the galaxy. This was being proven in combat. In Berlin, truck driver Sung-hyun was using his heavy transport vehicle to ram alien equipment. The aliens' advanced vehicles, designed for low-gravity worlds, crumpled like paper against the solid Earth-built truck. Their technology is like glass art, Sung-hyun reported to his resistance cell. Beautiful and advanced, but it breaks the moment you put real stress on it. The psychological impact on the Vorthak forces was becoming severe. On the flagship, Counselor Vextok was treating soldiers for what he could only describe as reality, shock. Commander, he reported to Thylex, the troops cannot understand how the humans live in such conditions. They are developing an irrational fear of the human species. Irrational? Thylex asked. Sir, The troops believe the humans are supernatural beings. They think Earth is some kind of training ground for warrior gods. They cannot accept that any natural species could be so adapted to extreme conditions. Show them the biological data, Thylex ordered. Sir, the biological data makes it worse. The humans' cardiovascular systems are designed to pump against high gravity. Their skeletal structure is dense enough to survive impacts that would shatter our bones. Their nervous systems process pain and stress as normal input. To our troops, this proves that humans are unnatural war machines. Back on Earth, the truth was becoming clear to human scientists. Dr. Jinwoo was presenting his findings to the world's defense leaders. We have been thinking about this invasion backwards, he said. We thought we were the primitive species and they were advanced. But advancement has two meanings. They advanced in easy conditions. We advanced in impossible conditions. What does that mean for the war? Asked General Hyemin. It means, replied Dr. Minho, that every human on Earth is already a soldier trained by the harshest boot camp in the galaxy. We do not need to become stronger to fight them. We just need to realize how strong we already are. This realization was spreading through human resistance groups worldwide. In Sydney, martial arts instructor Do Hyun was training civilians to fight the aliens hand-to-hand. Forget their advanced weapons, he told his students. In hand-to-hand combat, 2 weeks into the invasion, Commander Thylex made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He ordered the release of the Vorthak Empire's most advanced weapon systems, the gravitational disruptors and atmospheric processors that could reshape entire worlds. If we cannot conquer this death world, he told his senior staff, then we will make it like home. The plan was simple in its desperation. The Vorthak would use their technology to reduce Earth's gravity, thin its atmosphere and dim its harsh sunlight. They would transform the hostile planet into something they could survive on. What they did not understand was that they were planning to commit genocide against the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The first gravitational disruptor activated over the Pacific Ocean. Dr. Jinwoo, monitoring from the Seoul Defense Center, watched in horror as gravity readings began to fluctuate. They are trying to change our world, he reported to General Hyemin. If they succeed, they will kill every living thing on Earth. How long do we have? Asked the general. Dr. Minho checked his calculations. If they reduce gravity by 50%, our ecosystems will collapse within days. Our bodies cannot function in low gravity. We will die of organ failure. And if they thin our atmosphere? We suffocate, replied Dr. Yoonji grimly. Humans need dense atmosphere and high oxygen. Take that away, and we become as weak as they are. But the Vorthak had made a critical error. They assumed that changing Earth's environment would weaken the humans without making the planet uninhabitable for their own forces. They were wrong on both counts. In Tokyo, environmental scientist Dr. Youngji was the first to notice the unexpected side effects. The gravitational distortion is not stable, she reported to the Global Defense Network. It is creating massive electromagnetic interference. What does that mean? Asked Communications Officer Tae Hyun. It means their own technology is failing, Youngji replied with growing excitement. The gravitational disruptor is shorting out every electronic system within 1,000 kilometers, including their own. This discovery spread quickly through the resistance networks. In London, engineer Sujin was leading a team to exploit the aliens' technological vulnerability. Their weapons, their shields, their communication systems, everything depends on stable electromagnetic fields, she explained to Captain Jiho's strike team. The gravitational disruptor is destroying that stability. So they are making themselves helpless? Asked Sergeant Minsu. Worse than helpless, Sujin replied. They are trapped on a planet that is still trying to kill them, but now they cannot call for help or defend themselves. The irony was not lost on the human defenders. The aliens' most advanced weapon had become their greatest weakness, but there was a darker realization coming. In Seoul, Dr. Yoonji was studying biological samples from captured Vorthak soldiers when she made a disturbing discovery. The gravity changes are not affecting us the same way they affect the aliens, she told her research team. What do you mean? Asked Dr. Jinwoo. Human bodies are incredibly adaptable, Yunji explained. We evolved in changing conditions, ice ages, volcanic eruptions, climate shifts. The aliens evolved in stable, easy conditions. When their environment changes, they die. When our environment changes, we adapt. Are you saying we can survive? They're planet modifications. I am saying we might become even more dangerous, Yunji replied. Lower gravity means we can jump higher, run faster, hit harder. Thinner atmosphere means their weapons will work even worse than before. They are not weakening us, they are giving us advantages. This was being proven in combat zones worldwide. In Cairo, resistance fighter Donghyun discovered that he could leap over buildings in the reduced gravity zones. What had been intended to weaken humans was instead making them superhuman by Vorthak standards. It is like being given magical powers, Donghyun reported to his cell leader Yemen. I can move like I am flying. I can throw objects with impossible force. The aliens cannot even track my movements. But the most significant change was psychological. Humans were beginning to understand just how perfectly adapted they were to extreme conditions. In Paris, Olympic athlete Minji was training civilian volunteers in the altered gravity zones. Watch this, she told the group as she demonstrated a simple jump. In normal Earth gravity, she could leap 2 meters. In the reduced gravity, she soared 5 meters into the air. How is this possible? Asked one volunteer. Because, Minji explained as she landed gracefully, our bodies are built for the hardest conditions in the galaxy. When those conditions get easier, we become unstoppable. The Vorthak forces were learning this lesson the hard way. Squad leader. Graxon filed a report that would be classified at the highest levels of the Empire. The humans are not being weakened by our environmental modifications. They are being enhanced. I watched a single human soldier leap onto our transport vehicle, tear through the hull with his bare hands, and disable the entire crew before we could react. In reduced gravity, they move like creatures from our nightmares. The flagship Commander Thylex was reading similar reports from every combat zone. His environmental specialists were delivering news that made his blood freeze. Sir, reported Chief Science Officer Thexol, the atmospheric processing is not working as planned. The humans' respiratory systems are so efficient that they can extract oxygen from air half as thin as normal. Meanwhile, our troops still cannot breathe without full life support. What about the gravitational effects? Thylex asked. Sir, reducing Earth's gravity has made the humans faster and stronger, while barely improving our own mobility. Their bones and muscles are so overbuilt for their original conditions that they retain most of their advantages even in altered gravity. Thylex stared at the tactical display showing the deteriorating situation. Are you telling me that our ultimate weapons are making our enemies more dangerous while leaving us just as helpless? Yes, sir, Thexol replied quietly. But that is not the worst part. What is the worst part? Sir, we have given the humans clear evidence that we intend to destroy their world. They are no longer fighting a defensive war. They are fighting for survival. And there is nothing more dangerous than a deathworld predator fighting for its life. This shift in human behavior was becoming apparent across the globe. In Berlin, truck driver Shung Yun was no longer just defending his city. He was hunting alien forces with methodical precision. They want to kill our world, he told his resistance cell. That means they want to kill everything we love. This is not invasion anymore. This is war to extinction. The change in human tactics was devastating to Vorthak morale. Intelligence Officer Vextok filed reports describing human behavior that seemed impossible to his superiors. The humans have begun systematically hunting our forces. They track us through environments we cannot navigate. They attack with weapons we cannot counter. Most disturbing, they show no fear of death. They fight like beings who believe they are already dead. Explain, demanded Commander Thylex. Sir, when we threatened their world, we made a tactical error. Humans evolved on a planet that tries to kill them every day. They are comfortable with extinction-level threats. We thought we were escalating the conflict. To them, we just made it familiar. The truth of this assessment was becoming clear in every engagement. In Mumbai, martial arts instructor Do Hyun was leading night raids against Vorthak positions. His tactics were simple and terrifying. Move through terrain the aliens could not navigate, strike at their weakest points, and disappear before they could respond. They cannot see in our darkness, he explained to his team. They cannot move in our weather. They cannot breathe in our air. We are fighting them in our world, and in our world, we are the apex predators. The aliens were beginning to understand this terrible truth. On the flagship, ship's Dr. Vexthar delivered a medical assessment that changed everything. Commander, I have completed analysis of human combat performance. The results are unprecedented. Report, Thylex ordered. Sir, humans demonstrate stress response patterns that should be impossible. When threatened with extinction, they become more efficient, not less. Their adrenaline systems enhance performance rather than creating panic. Their brains process mortal danger as tactical information. What does that mean? Sir, it means that threatening to destroy their world has activated biological systems designed for survival under impossible odds. We have not weakened them. We have triggered their maximum combat potential. This was being demonstrated in the mountains of Korea, where Captain Jiho was leading a special forces unit in operations that seemed supernatural to Vorthak observers. The humans are moving through terrain that would kill our troops even with full environmental suits, reported Vorthak scout leader Zeltok. They operate in temperatures that would freeze our blood. They fight in storms that ground our aircraft. They seem to thrive in conditions that represent death to any rational species. How is this possible? Thylex demanded during the morning briefing. Sir, replied environmental specialist Gregson, I believe we have fundamentally misunderstood what kind of species we are fighting. We assumed they were primitives who happened to live on a harsh world. I now believe they are the ultimate product of that harsh world, being so perfectly evolved for extreme conditions that they cannot be defeated by any species that evolved. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Communications Officer Tai Hyun, monitoring alien transmissions from his post in Seoul, intercepted a message that changed everything humanity thought they knew about the galaxy. Dr. Jinwoo, he called excitedly, You need to hear this. The transmission was from a Vorthak science vessel, reporting to their home fleet. But it was not the usual battle report. Instead, it was a desperate warning being broadcast across Vorthak space. Emergency classification, deathworld contact protocol, species designation, Terran humans, threat level, civilization ending, recommendation, immediate quarantine, do not engage, do not approach System Sol 3. The deathworld inhabitants have achieved space-capable status. Dr. Jinwoo listened to the translated message with growing amazement. They are warning their own people to stay away from us? It gets worse, Taehyun replied, switching to another intercepted transmission. Listen to this. The second message was from Commander Thylex to the Vorthak Empire Council. His voice carried a tone of defeat that was unmistakable even through the translation software. Council members, I must report the complete failure of our invasion of the primitive world designated Earth. However, I must correct our initial assessment. The inhabitants are not primitive. They are deathworld apex predators operating at full evolutionary potential. Our technology, designed for civilized conditions, is completely ineffective against beings adapted to extreme environments. What does deathworld apex predators mean? Asked General Hyaman, who had arrived to hear the intelligence briefing. Dr. Yoonji, the biologist, looked up from her analysis of the alien data. I think it means we are not the only intelligent species in the galaxy, but we might be the only one that evolved under difficult conditions. Explain. Think about it. Yoonji continued. Every alien we have captured shows signs of evolution in easy conditions. Weak bones, efficient but fragile organs, technology designed for stable environments. What if most intelligent life in the galaxy evolved on gentle worlds? Dr. Minho nodded slowly. That would make Earth unusual, a harsh world that produced intelligent life instead of killing it. More than unusual, replied Dr. Jinwoo. It would make us unique. The only species that evolved intelligence while under extreme survival pressure. The implications were staggering. But more intercepted transmissions were making the picture even clearer. Intelligence Officer Woo Jin had been working around the clock to decode Vorthak military communications. What he found painted a picture of galactic civilization that no human had imagined. According to their databases, he reported to the Emergency Council, the Vorthak Empire has conquered 17 worlds. But look at the descriptions of those worlds. Low gravity, thin atmosphere, weak stellar radiation, stable weather patterns. Every single conquest was a planet with easier conditions than the Vorthak homeworld. So they only attack worlds that are easier to live on than their own? Asked General Hyaman. Exactly. They are what we might call downhill conquerors. They expand only into environments that are less challenging than home. Until they met us. Environmental engineer Kyung-hee was analyzing the technical data from captured alien equipment. This confirms what we suspected about their technology, she told the council. It is incredibly advanced, but only for easy conditions. They have never needed to build anything that could survive in a harsh environment. What about our technology? Asked Dr. Jinwoo. Our technology is over-engineered for survival, Kyung-hee replied. We build everything to work in extreme heat, cold, pressure, and weather because that is normal for Earth. By galactic standards, our primitive technology is probably the most robust in existence. This was being proven in the field. In Tokyo, Mechanic Sung-yeon was leading a team that had captured an intact Vorthak transport vehicle. Their analysis was shocking. This machine is a miracle of engineering, he reported. It is more efficient than anything we could build. But watch what happens when we test it in Earth conditions. The alien vehicle operated perfectly in a controlled environment. But the moment it was exposed to normal Earth weather, a light rain shower, its systems began failing. The electronics shorted out, the hull developed stress fractures, and the engine overheated. Now watch our truck, Sung-hyun continued, starting up a battered human transport vehicle that was 30 years old. It ran perfectly in the rain, just as it had been designed to do. Their technology is like a Formula One race car, he explained. Amazing performance under perfect conditions, but useless if the road gets bumpy. Our technology is like a tank, less elegant, but it works anywhere. But the most important discovery was still coming. Dr. Yoonji had been analyzing biological samples from Vorthak prisoners, comparing them to human physiology. What she found rewrote humanity's understanding of its place in the galaxy. The Vorthak are not unusual, she announced at the Global Scientific Conference. Based on their biology, I believe they are typical of galactic intelligent life, evolved in stable, low-stress environments, optimized for efficiency rather than survival. And humans? Asked Dr. Jinwoo. Humans are the opposite, Yoonja replied. We are optimized for survival in impossible conditions. Our redundant organs, dense bones, powerful cardiovascular systems, and stress response mechanisms are not normal for intelligent life. We are evolutionary anomalies. Are you saying we are freaks? Asked General Hyaman. I am saying we are apex survivors, Yoonji corrected. Every human alive represents millions of years of evolution under the harshest conditions that still allowed intelligence to develop. We are not just another species. We are what happens when intelligence evolves in hell. This revelation was spreading through human society, changing how people saw themselves and their world. In Busan, former athlete, Minji was training civilian defense groups when she made a realization that many humans were having. I used to think Earth was a normal world and we were normal people, she told her trainees. But now I understand that we live on a death world, and we are the monsters that death worlds create. Are we really monsters? Asked one of the civilians. Tukyo. Them yes, Minji replied, gesturing toward the alien ships in the sky. We are beings who thrive in conditions that would kill them. We are physically stronger, mentally tougher, and evolutionarily superior in every category that matters for survival. From their perspective, we are nightmare creatures. This understanding was changing human military strategy. Captain Jiho, leading special operations against alien positions, was adapting tactics based on the new intelligence. We have been fighting them like they are dangerous enemies, he told his unit. But now we know the truth. They are fragile beings with powerful tools. We do not need to fear their technology. We need to get close enough to use our natural advantages. The results were immediate and decisive. Sergeant Minsu led a squad that eliminated an entire Vorthak platoon using nothing but knives and hand-to-hand combat. Their armor protects against energy weapons, he reported, but it cannot protect against the impact force of a human punch in Earth gravity. Their bones break, their organs rupture, and their nervous system shut down from trauma that would barely slow down a human. On the Vorthak flagship, the medical reports were causing panic among the officer corps. Ship's Dr. Vexthar presented findings that challenged everything they thought they knew about intelligent life. Commander, he reported to Thylex, the humans are not just physically superior to us. They are mentally adapted to extreme stress, in ways that should be impossible for any intelligent species. Explain. Sir, intelligent beings usually evolve in safe, stable environments where they can develop complex thought without constant survival pressure. The humans evolved intelligence while under continuous mortal threat. Their brains are designed to think clearly while their bodies are dying. What does that mean in practical terms? It means, the doctor replied grimly, that humans become more dangerous when they are injured, more focused when they are afraid, and more creative when they are desperate. They are the perfect warriors, because they were designed by evolution to fight or die. This assessment was being proven in combat zones around the world. In Berlin, resistance leader Do Hyun had been wounded in 3 separate engagements, but, instead of becoming less effective, he was leading increasingly successful operations. Pain focuses the mind, he explained to his medic. Fear sharpens the reflexes. Desperation opens possibilities that comfort never reveals. The aliens think, injury makes us weak, but it makes us dangerous. The psychological warfare was becoming as important as the physical combat. Human forces were beginning to exploit the aliens' growing terror of Earth and its inhabitants. In Moscow, psychological warfare specialist Youngji was broadcasting messages to alien forces that were designed to break their morale. You came to our world expecting easy conquest, her broadcasts said. Instead, you found the training ground of the galaxy's most dangerous predators. Every day you stay here, you become weaker while we become stronger. This is not your victory. This is your extinction. The broadcasts were working. Vorthak desertion. Rates were climbing and their military effectiveness was collapsing. Intelligence intercepts revealed the depth of alien demoralization. Communications officer Tae Hyun translated a message from a Vorthak squad leader to his. The end came not with a final battle, but with a revelation that changed the galaxy forever. Commander Thylex stood alone on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the blue world that had destroyed his empire's confidence. 3 weeks ago, he had commanded the mightiest invasion force in Vorthak history. Now he was preparing to send a message that would reshape galactic civilization. Communications, he ordered, open a channel to the Galactic Council. The Galactic Council was a loose alliance of 47 intelligent species that shared information about habitable worlds and dangerous space phenomena. The Vorthak Empire had never bothered to join, considering themselves superior to such cooperation. Now Thylex was about to give them the most important warning in galactic history. Council members, he began his transmission. This is War Commander, Thylex of the Vorthak Empire. I am transmitting from orbit around the world designated Sol 3, also known as Earth. I am here to issue an emergency quarantine notice that must be broadcast to all intelligent species in the galaxy. On Earth, Dr. Jinwoo was monitoring the alien transmissions when he heard Thylex's message to the galactic community. He quickly called the emergency council in Seoul. They are warning the entire galaxy about us, he reported to General Hyaman. What exactly are they saying? Asked Dr. Minho. Jinwoo played the translation. Earth must be classified as a Class 12 deathworld, the highest danger rating in our classification system. The indigenous species known as humans represent an existential threat to any species that makes contact with them. An existential threat? Asked Dr. Yunji. What does that mean? It means, replied Intelligence Officer Wu Jin, that they believe contact with humans will lead to the extinction of other species. The transmission continued. The humans are not a primitive species as originally believed. They are apex evolutionary survivors, products of the harshest planetary conditions that still allow intelligence to develop. Their physical capabilities, mental resilience, and technological adaptability make them the most dangerous beings we have ever encountered. General Hyemin listened with growing amazement. They are more afraid of us than we ever were of them. It gets better, Jinwoo said, switching to another part of the transmission. Listen to this. Thylex's voice continued. Human technology appears primitive by galactic standards, but this assessment is incorrect. Human technology is over-engineered for extreme conditions. A human spacecraft designed for their deathworld conditions will outperform our most advanced vessels in any environment. Human weapons designed for their dense atmosphere and high gravity will function flawlessly under any conditions while our energy-based systems fail. Dr. Kyung-hee, monitoring from her engineering station, felt a surge of pride. He is right. Our primitive rockets are built to escape Earth's gravity well. That makes them more powerful than anything designed for easy world conditions. But the most important part, continued Jinwoo, is what he says about our biology. The transmission revealed the aliens' true understanding of humanity. Humans demonstrate physical and mental capabilities that should be impossible for any intelligent species. They possess redundant organ systems, reinforced skeletal structures, and cardiovascular efficiency that allows them to operate under stress that would kill any civilized being. More critically, their nervous systems are designed to enhance performance under mortal threat rather than degrading it. Enhancement under threat, repeated Dr. Yoonji slowly. He is saying that we get stronger when we are in danger. Is that true? Asked General Hyemin. Yes, replied Dr. Yoonji. Human adrenaline systems, stress responses, and pain management all work to improve performance under life-threatening conditions. Most species become less effective when threatened. We become more effective. The alien commander's transmission reached its conclusion. I am hereby recommending that Earth be placed under permanent quarantine. No species should attempt contact with humans. No expeditions should approach the Sol system. The Deathworld. Inhabitants must be allowed to develop in isolation, because contact with them will inevitably result in their dominance over any species they encounter. Dominance, whispered General Hyemin. He believes we will dominate anyone we meet. Will we? Asked Dr. Minho. Dr. Jinwoo looked around the room at Earth's greatest minds. Maybe not intentionally, he said slowly. But think about it. If we meet species that evolved in easy conditions, and we evolved in impossible conditions, who will be better adapted to handle any environment we encounter together? The answer was becoming clear to everyone in the room. Humans would not conquer other species through malice, but through sheer evolutionary superiority. But there was more to the story. Intelligence Officer Tae-hyun had been monitoring communications between alien ships, and what he found was changing humanity's understanding of galactic politics. The Vorthak are not the only ones watching us, he reported. I am detecting observation, vessels from at least 12 different species, all staying at maximum sensor range. They are studying us, realized Dr. Jinwoo, and they are terrified, added Tae-hyun. Listen to this transmission between two Zelkonian science vessels. The translated message was revealing. Observation log. The Deathworld inhabitants have demonstrated capabilities that exceed all known parameters for intelligent life. Individual humans exhibit physical strength equivalent to our combat mechs, endurance that surpasses our military conditioning programs, and stress tolerance that should be biologically impossible. Combat mechs? Asked General Hyemin. I think, replied Dr. Yoonji. They are saying that normal humans are as strong as their military robots. Another intercepted transmission, this one from a Thalorian research vessel, was even more explicit. Recommendation: immediate reclassification of humans from emerging species to galactic apex predators. Their evolutionary advantages make peaceful coexistence impossible. They will inevitably become the dominant species in any mixed civilization. The implications were staggering. Humanity was not just another intelligent species. They were the species that other intelligent life feared most. On the Vorthak flagship, Commander Thylex was preparing his final report to the Empire Council. It would be the most important document in Vorthak history, because it would determine whether his species survived the next century. Council members, he transmitted to his homeworld, I must report the complete failure of our Earth invasion. But failure is not the correct word for what has happened here. Discovery is more accurate. We have discovered that the galaxy contains a species so evolutionarily advanced that contact with them represents an extinction-level threat to our civilization. The humans did not defeat us through superior technology or greater numbers. They defeated us by existing. Their homeworld is so harsh that survival there created beings who are superior to us in every category that matters: strength, endurance, adaptability, and stress tolerance. My recommendation is immediate and absolute. The Vorthak Empire must avoid all contact with humans. We must hope they choose to remain on their death world, because if they decide to expand into the galaxy, no existing civilization can compete with them. We came to conquer primitives and discovered that we are the primitives. On Earth, the truth was spreading through human society like wildfire. The revelation that humanity was the galaxy's apex species was changing everything. Politics, science, philosophy, and most importantly, humanity's vision of its future. In Seoul, environmental engineer Kyung-hee was leading a project to reverse engineer alien technology. But what they found was that human engineering principles were actually superior for real-world applications. Their technology is more advanced in terms of energy efficiency and computational power, she explained to her team. But our technology is more advanced in terms of reliability and environmental tolerance. In any practical application, our primitive approach will outperform their advanced approach. What does that mean for space exploration? Asked her assistant Wu Jin. It means that when humans build starships, they will be the most robust vessels in the galaxy, Kyung-hee replied. Built to survive Earth launch conditions, they will handle any environment space can offer. In Tokyo, Dr. Youngji was coordinating with atmospheric scientists worldwide to plan humanity's expansion into space. Based on what we have learned about galactic conditions, she reported, most habitable worlds are easier to live on than Earth. Humans will find them comfortable, while species from those worlds would die on Earth within days. So we can live anywhere, but others cannot live here, asked General Heyman during a video conference. Exactly, replied Dr. Youngji. Earth is the ultimate high-performance environment. Anyone who can survive here can survive anywhere. The reverse is not true. But the most significant development was humanity's growing understanding of their responsibility as the galaxy's apex species. Dr. Jinwoo was addressing the United Nations General Assembly, explaining what humanity's newfound status meant for their future. We now know that humans are not just another intelligent species seeking to join galactic civilization, he said. We are the species that will inevitably lead galactic civilization because we are evolutionarily superior to every other known intelligent life form. That comes with a responsibility, he continued. We must decide what kind of galactic